Hey, it's Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's September 5th. This will be our chart listing for today. And another look at our daily chart with the envelope bands. You can see it looks like we're pulling back to at least test this uh, 21 EMA. That's what this is in the middle. These other bands are based on some other formulas, but this one in the very middle is a 21 EMA band. And so that's what prices are based on there. And you can see we had a big bearish day here. It really was kind of a range day that closed on its low and kind of broke lower in the end. But when you see it on the daily chart, it was just a range type day. So um, anyway, I'm going to flip over there and we'll take a look at that chart and go through the trades, and we'll wrap the day up. I'm a little bit behind because of the holiday. I took the 3 days off. I didn't have a chance to look at any emails or look at the website or anything. So I'm a little bit behind, but I'll try to get caught up over the next couple of days. I've already read a good bit of email today, so I'm getting close to caught up already. But just be patient with me if you got some emails out there. But let's flip over, take a look at the chart, and go through the trades. And here it is. This is how I saw it. You can see the range here. The highs were pretty much over here at the overnight highs. The lows were a little bit higher than the overnight lows. Most of our touches came right across here, so that's where I moved it to. And you can see it tends to fit with the midline fairly well across there. So, but notice we did close almost on a very low today. So, and we did, looks like we did. Did we reach a measure? We didn't quite meet two measures legs. We came close. They tried. So anyway, let's zoom in here and we'll go through the trades and we'll wrap this day up. 7 o'clock came just as we're kind of making this top and turning down here. This was real tempting. We already had a break in a new high, but we weren't quite to the overnight highs. So I think you have to just kind of sit there and wait. And I just don't see anything in here until right here. There's a second entry long right at the midline, and we bounced there previously. This made a little higher low. Fairly small signal bar, like 6 ticks, so you could get in that with the 8 tick rule. So I like that on the second entry, just to ride it back to the EMA. As long as you got room there, pretty close to the EMA, you'd probably want to take that trade. Turns out to be a pretty good move, and we just run up. We just kind of make a little lower high. And notice we made a new swing high here, and then we had a first entry, then a second entry, and when it broke below that bar right there, that's a failure. I don't think I would take that on the engulfing bar, but right here, I wouldn't have a problem going low. You can see it confirms that trend line. And we're probably headed to the other side. That would be your expectation. And off we go. And then we got another, it's a little congested here, but notice you finally made a double bottom, then you get a first entry, second entry. That second entry is a very nice signal bar right off the key entry point. And we also tried to go higher there, so there's a triple test. So as long as you got room to get out before this low, I'd say take that trade. I'd probably take it even if it was close. That turns out to be another pretty good move. Then we finally get a break here, and you get a first entry and then a second entry, and there's a 4-bar matching high right at the resistance right there. If we break lower than that, we're going to probably test the lows again and or at least make a new low on this, or attempt to make a new low here. So that's probably a pretty good trade there. And it turns out this is all too congested. You might have taken this failed breakout, but it's so close to the EMA right there. I'm a little leery of it. We've been below the EMA the whole time. We did get above it for a minute here, but we're still below that EMA. And so I'm a little wary of going long there. High or low would be your better setup, but you don't get a setup on that, and then suddenly you get a second entry short. I marked this one green just because of the signal bar. It's not perfect. If you zoom in here a little more, you can see there's a little bit of stem there, but you can clearly see that trend line has been in play. I pretty much like that going short right there. Then we came down here and it looked like we were going to bounce again, and we had an overshoot earlier I wasn't sure if this was a low down here or if this was an overshoot, but I believe this to be an overshoot because this thing took off. You can't go long right into this. So on the failure there, it's not a very good failure anyway. And you do get a break and a new high here, but that's a fairly strong move. I'd wait for the lower high, and it's way down here, so it's pretty much too late. And then we get another little failed breakout here. This one broke lower and turned and went pat and went higher here. I didn't draw this. I don't know why I didn't draw this. There's a trend channel right there. And then you get a break and a couple of legs down. So that's a failed breakout again where most of the support's been across there. And when it breaks lower like that first and turns up, maybe you go long on that engulfing bar. It's not a perfect setup, but there's some reasons to like that one. There's a higher low here, but again, too neutral. And then another higher low here with, and you could call that a triple test now. And this breaks lower again and then turns up. You could go long on the engulfing bar or wait till that closes and just go long there because that's probably going to reverse. And we're probably headed to the other side now. And that was a fairly decent move. You get a second entry short, but you can't go short there. And then it turns up. Too congested here. Now it's too far away from the EMA. And unfortunately, you get a triple test here, but no signal bar. But you do get a lower high. It breaks higher right there and turns down. I like going short there. You could go short on the engulfing bar or wait for that one to close. And this turns out to be another good move. Just ride that all the way down. We just get, it's congested here, no signal bars to go long and no real short setups either. And then next thing you know, we're climbing this trend line here. This is actually a little lower here. There's a second entry long here. I did not mark it because it's right into that midline. And you can see it hesitated before it went higher. So I'd like to see a breakout pullback, but you don't get any setup really. And then you get your break here, new high, and then you're just kind of chopping around. If that would have been a little better signal bar, that would have been a great short. You can't go short right into that, and you just don't really get another opportunity on that. There's a nice move down. I don't really see anything I like here. Two sideways. So no real setup down through here. Then we bounce. There's a failure here, actually right here. But look how congested, and you see it. You would have had trouble right there. Then you get a break, and I like this one. Notice you got a new high, first entry, then it drops lower, fails, turns up, and when it goes out here, you got a second entry long. That's where you want to enter. Comes back here, and you get another first entry, second entry, and this one's above the midline. I like going long right there. You really think maybe it'll go all the way to the highs, but it doesn't. It's good for easily a scalp, and then it turns down. No reason to go short there, really. This runs on down, kind of chops sideways, closes outside, and notice there's a new low here. You don't really tick lower here, but it tries to go lower and then comes up. You can't really treat that as a second entry, I don't think. There's a hidden second entry in there, but I don't think that's good enough. I think the way you have to play this is congestion, so it's a little small range, and you can treat that as a failed breakout. Big, nice bearish bar. As long as you got room back to here, take that trade. You get more than that, but just make sure you got room to get out before these lows here. And you can see you actually have a little more. I think you have one. You have almost 7 ticks there, but you only need 6. So as long as you got 1.5, you're good. So I like that trade. I really thought it'd come down here and test the lows. It eventually does, but you would have got stopped out before then, and that takes you into 230. So kind of a oddball day. You had some periods in here where just nothing you can trade and no way to trade it. So had a few trades early and a few trades late. So that's how I saw it. Just a sideways day. That's a pretty tight range too. I mean, it's only 15 points, so fairly small range. Kind of a quiet day. I think maybe a lot of people were still on holiday. Maybe the holiday, some people took an extended holiday. Probably just kind of took a light day today if they did work or whatever, so if they did trade. But it just kind of looks like an extended holiday day to me. Anyway, not much else we can say about this day. It's just a sideways range type day, but that closed on its low. So I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.